Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. Top of the morning, top of the morning. Guys, a Spartan salute. What's goody, Brody? Charles D, salute. What's goody? Wayne Henning, salute. Fah Fah. What's good with y'all, man? Took the weekend off, man. Took me a little quarantine vacay at my sister-in-law's house and shit. So I ain't been doing no boxing talk, man. So I figured I'd tap into y'all today before I get edited and shit. What's goody, everybody? South Croy, salute. How y'all feeling, man? Marv Lime, salute. Cheaty, what the business is? Lisa, salute. How y'all feeling this morning, man? How's everybody? Yeah, man. I figured people would get a laugh out of that man's nose. I don't know. So look, right? I was on Twitter yesterday, and the girl, the blonde bomber or whatever, some dude messaged her, right, and was like, "Yo, I'll give you $500 if you send me your dirty socks," right? So like, dude, cash app this girl like $500 for a dirty sock. So I threw up this tweet, was like, "Yo," I said, you know that dude that want her socks is sitting back patiently waiting with the Leonard Ellerby nose and shit, like, like waiting on the laundry day like something serious, AKA Leonard Smellerby though. That nigga, hey, his name do look like the old Saint symbol. What's that joint called? Like the Fleur de Lis or something like that? That nigga knows it's something, a legend, bro. Yeah, man. I hope everybody doing good, man. We about to turn it back up this week, though, man. I got like 4 edits. I got 4 edits, like already pre-chopped and ready to go for this week, man. So I'm gonna increase the work rate for y'all over the next couple of weeks. I needed a fucking break, man. So what y'all think about the Virgil fight over the weekend? This nigga Charles D stupid. He said you can't breathe around a nigga in a small room. Facts. That type of nose, he might suck. That nigga inhale, he might take you with him. The rugs start to come up off the floor, like you start feeling your shirt start to pull away from your body and everything with every breath. He might take you with him. Boom Man was on John Boxing head early. Come on, man. Look, right when y'all already know, Boom, my brother. So as soon as that Bama, like when Boxing Finesse sent me that video and I seen his name come up, Die Hard Casual name come up, DT3, Johnny Boy, and a whole bunch of other folks. Dog, I went on them, especially on that DT3, Die Hard Casual Boxing Finesse shit. I wasn't fucking with that. But man, Virgil looked good. I don't see why people giving the boy like acting like that performance wasn't impressive. I'm like, yo, the boy 22, he literally could have stopped the dude. He could have stopped the dude in the 3rd round for real, man. Like, Samuel Vargas didn't have no punch resistance left, but he pulled back after the 3rd round and decided, you know what, I'm gonna just walk this fool down, like meticulously break this dude down, really beat him the fuck up, and I'm gonna show y'all some shit. I'm gonna show y'all these pivots. I'm gonna show y'all how I double up on this left hand. I'm gonna show y'all these combinations. I'm gonna show y'all this footwork in and out. I'm gonna show y'all this lateral movement. Man, Virgil got some tools in the shed, bro. He just ain't your average, he just ain't your everyday Mexican bully fighter. Nah, man. Boy can box, man. Rondell, salute. He said, just watch Eddie Hearn set up. Yeah, man, I can't wait. We starting off this weekend, right? Ain't the first week of fight camp starting this weekend? Because y'all already know I read up on that DAZN membership. Y'all already know I'm in the pocket. I just read up on mine right before the Samuel Vargas Virgil Ortiz fight. I got to re-up on my ESPN Plus. For real, I've been slacking on that because they've been showing a lot of fights. So I definitely need to re-up on that this weekend too, man. But all them shit start to add up, bro. What do you think of Estrada KO against Atkins? Honestly, I don't really have nothing bad to say about it. For that girl that she was fighting, she should have KO'd her in 7 seconds. If she wouldn't have did anything like that or finished her in the first round, I think we all probably would have been scratching our head about it. I heard I don't know too much about the girl, but I heard the girl's never beat a winning fighter. She's never beat a fighter with a win on a record. I feel like that fight was what that fight was for. It was a tune-up fight. It was to give her some work. People love super bad Estrada, so they got to see her in the ring. Now, the way she handled her business, we can't be mad that she knocked the girl out. It wasn't like the girl ain't had no business being in the ring. She just wasn't no good. And I think that was the point, though, just to put her in there with somebody where she could get some rounds in. Well, I didn't know it was going to be 7 seconds. I think I like y'all probably know more about it than I do because I'm not really a female boxing guy. I'm starting to get more and more into it now that it's starting to evolve a little bit. And the fighters definitely getting better. But, for real, the girl working Panera, though, or you just capping right now? Are you capping Brody or is she really working Panera right now? Yeah, definitely a bad mismatch, man. I mean, it's one of them, it's like, yo, could you have found somebody better? I'm sure you could have. But what are all the surrounding stipulations like? Why is everybody so mad about it? Is everybody so mad about it because they feel like the girl shouldn't have had no business in the ring with her or what? It was about a week's notice and she got paid for L on the record. So the girl took the fight on a week's notice. Did her other opponent pull out or something like that? Or it was just like a last minute matchmate? Talk to me. Because you know what I'm saying, I don't want to give my perspective on it because I don't really got all of the details. So if y'all can, give me the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs, then we could get there together. I don't know if she worked through Panera, but she definitely ain't a boxer. Her stance was terrible. Like, yo, I need to go and watch that fight because, I literally thought it was a highlight. Kind of like when I was watching Julius live yesterday morning and shit for a little bit. When he said, yo, the shit happened so fast, everybody thought the shit was a highlight. Now everybody, in an uproar by how she washed that girl. But my whole thing is, man, she a fighter. She gonna do what a fighter do. Now, did she have a choice? Was it her fault? Is that who Eddie put her in there with? See, now you can't. Okay, Ellie 113. Now see, and Yams, I can't feel no type of way about that, Carlos. I can't, because the girl pulled out, so it was a last minute opponent. If the girl had a boxing license, if she was able to box, if she took the fight, can't be mad at Superbad Estrada for that. She did what she was supposed to do to an opponent like that. So. Exactly, Wayne Henny. She signed the waiver. So I mean, we can't feel no type of way about Superbad for doing her job when her other opponent pulled out. Nah, I just think that she did what she was supposed to do with a fighter of that caliber. I feel like everybody did what they were supposed to do with the type of fights that they was in. Other than Tank Davis and Gamboa. No one was available. And most of the top girls of that weight class are from out of the country. Yeah, a lot of the top girls are from out of the country in women's boxing. That's a fact. And then the other girls, they got other big fights coming up too. Because the women's schedule is pretty packed as far as they big fights. We are getting Delphine versus Katie though, and in 3 weeks. Yeah, plus all of the other contenders are outside of the U.S. Sinessa is ready for all of the after COVID restrictions. Yeah, man, can't be mad at her. Her husband signed her up to get beat up. Then that Ellie, you know what that means? He wanted to do that shit himself for real. So for real, he made her sign that waiver. He's like, yeah, take this match. You really need this ass whooping because you driving me fucking batshit crazy right now at home. Shout out to the homie batshit crazy. Fish, yo, Fah Fah. What's goody, brother? Yeah, man, but I love, man, I love what Virgil Ortiz doing, man. I think it's about time that we just go ahead and just say, yo, y'all already know how I feel about Ryan Garcia. It's time that they do away with that Ryan Garcia conversation. Stop looking at the Abercrombie and Fishnet model. Look at Virgil Ortiz for what he is, man. The boy can box. The boy got movement, man. The boy got personality, and he does do his job. You don't hear this man complaining 2 times over about a prospect contract or nothing like that, and he putting in more work. This man's for Orozco, Mauricio Herrera, Samuel Herrera, Solomon. Who else am I leaving out? And yeah, in Vargas, that was his last 4 fights. The highest ranked person Ryan Garcia fought was like 30-something in the world. So if we want to put things in perspective, I put my money on the kid. The kid that want to fight everybody, the kid that ain't got no fear in his heart, the kid that you can be confident putting him in the match like, yo, you kind of know, like, you confident that he can get it done for real. And I honestly feel like with 2 more fights, because I did a vote. I was like, yo, I said, do y'all feel like Virgil Ortiz, and I'm going to ask y'all too, y'all think Virgil Ortiz ready for your Denise Ugas, or you need 1 or 2 more fights? LAC 74, salute. I think get that kid maybe 1, 2 more fights, and he world level, he championship level. Yeah, plus all that. Just checked on the fight camp, looks sick. Yeah, man, you know I gotta do a video on that, Fish. 2 hands, how do you see Charlo versus Sergey? I'm gonna have to bet 50 on Sergey. He gave Triple G hell, and Charlo ain't been in with no number 1 like Sergey. Man, Lack, bro, you already know I'm Team Sergey, fam. I'm Team Sergey. Like, well, now let's look at Jamal Charlo's last 3 opponents. His last opponent was Brandon Adams. No, his last opponent was Dennis Hogan. Then before that, it was Brandon Adams. And then wasn't before that, was it Hugo Centeno Jr.? Or was another lightweight? Who was the guy he fought before Brandon Adams? But regardless of the situation, he's fought 3 undersized opponents who don't have no skill, who kind of like shouldn't have been in there the way they was in there with him. Sergey Derevyanchenko went life or death, and he lost a decision to Triple G that he would have won if he would have been a matchroom product. So with that being said, man, I'm going for Sergey. Sergey done been in wars with, he done been in there with your Danny Jacobs. He done been in there with your Triple Gs. Yeah, man, Martin Virgil, way better. And actually he punches with conviction, man. Like this kid, the truth, man. I just want, like I said, give him another step fight up. I'd say a top 10 contender. Give him a real dog top 10 defender, and honestly, I would test his ability with matchups too. I would put him in there with a slick boxer puncher. You know what I mean? A boxer that like to roll off the shoulder, a boxer that like to keep that jab out there, use that footwork, level change. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that really can fluently box, to see how he can handle a pure boxer. Because we've seen him deal with that. We've seen him take on all the Mexican styles and stuff like that. Put him in there with a slick boxer, see what he do. So Mania, salute. Mr. 2 Hands, how are you in the USA today, bruv? Stay safe from UK. Hey, man, you know it's all love sold from the UK to the USA. Y'all know y'all my brothers, man. I can't wait to touch down after all of these COVID restrictions and up and shit like that. Because we going all the way out. Hit up some Premier League and shit like that. I'm with all of that shit. I want to go to all that shit. I can see Derevyanchenko exposing Charlo's body, but I can also see Charlo dropping Sergey. Me too, Wayne. It's like this. This is the way I said it on D's show when I was on for like the 5 minutes I was on there. I said, Sergey Derevyanchenko, this is determined for the fight fans, and this is determined for the Premier Boxing Champions. Where do you put Jamal? Is Jamal ready for another tier of what I would say kind of upper echelon opponents? Because Sergey is right there. Sergey is a guy that can be a world champion. Has got all of the, the gatekeeping abilities to stop you in the world. So I'm like, if you can't beat a Sergey Derevyanchenko in convincing fashion, they not going to do nothing with him. Now, Jermell Charlo, he the main event. They putting him in the unification when Banana wasn't even supposed to fight him. He wasn't even in Banana plans. So they moving with Jermell. But Jamal, I think Jamal, he can knock Sergey out if he don't keep his head off the line. But Sergey a little bit tougher in the chin, And Sergey like to put his combinations together, short, choppy, and he like to be in the phone booth with it. He like to be close range sitting on his punches, and he punches in bunches. Jamal Charlo don't punch in bunches like that. He's a straight, heavy-handed, he likes to throw straights. Full extension, all the way extended. He's a heavy-handed guy. He likes to sit down on everything, like, so he don't pull his punches really, so I think that can get Jamal in trouble with Sergey. Boots would be a good fight. Boots versus Virgil. Who's sitting next to Boots right now? You want to know what would be a good fight because they've had four fights, I believe, already. Gary Antoine, and Jerron Boots Ennis. Not right now though, but I feel like that's the fight because Boots beat Gary Antoine the first time. Gary Antoine beat him the 3 other times. Those two would make a good fight. And Gary Antoine, Russell knocking everything out right now. Everything out. I like to see him with a guy that can really get him 12 rounds in, that he can really show his ability to box. Because Gary Antoine is just a bigger, younger guy, man. He just been stopping everything. Yeah, Boots got all the intangibles in the world too, Lisa. I really like Boots. I just think it's like, yo, we ain't seen Boots fought nobody below rank 50th in the world, and I think that's the way his promotion set up for real, because he fight through Showtime, but I think like his father and them promote him. I don't think he's not promoted by any of the major outfits. He just gets his fights through Showtime, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Been in a few wars though. That's gonna show now. Yeah, man, yeah, but the thing about it is though, man, some people, man, Sergey's still young and fresh though. He's still young and fresh now. The way Triple G took that type of punishment that him and Sergey both mutually had to take in that fight, Triple G's hurting way more from it. And I think that's why Triple G kind of been taking the back seat for real than I'd say Sergey hurting from it. But like, yeah, Sergey ain't gonna be able to keep fighting like that without being kind of defensively responsible. Boxing God, my brother, salute. How you feeling today, bro? Brian Hawkins, salute. Charlo versus Derevyanchenko. It is Charlo's toughest. It's definitely Charlo's toughest, bro. And I'm like, let's be serious here. I understand Matvey Karbov is a little bit slicker. Is slicker than Derevyanchenko, but I don't believe that Matvey Karbov is a better fighter than Derevyanchenko. And Derevyanchenko gave Jamal everything that he was asking for and then some. So I just feel like Sergey now got a shot at that WBC belt. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to try to stop him for real. I don't think Sergey's going in there trying to go 12. He know what 12 rounds in the decision has been doing for him. And that's a PBC Charlo double event. I think he's going to go in there and really try to upset the apple cart, man. Because if I would have went through what I went through with Triple G, I think just the competitive nature of men, and I just think like going through something like that, taking such a tough loss like that, I think he gonna come in war ready for real. And honestly, bro, like let's be serious here. Y'all know the bets are gonna be phenomenal. So any of us could probably bet anywhere between 10, 20 bucks and make a couple hundred bucks. Put 50, probably make 500 off of the fight because we all know the odds is heavily in, excuse me. The odds are heavily in Maul favor. Yo, shout out to my Brody Freddie Maul, salute. Dean Campbell, salute. How you feeling this morning? Ringside Boxing, salute. Man, I think Jamel got the surefire easiest night. I think Jamel got the easier night, but I think Jamal gonna have a better. His fight gonna steal the show though. Like I think that. What y'all think? I think Derevyanchenko, Jamal Charlo got the potential could potentially be in that top 5 fight of the year kind of fights for real. Because I mean, we ain't even really had no fights this year to be honest. But the two styles, man, it just make for a lot of heads being thrown. And Rosario, Jamel, them boys gonna be cracking off the punches, man. Them two styles, that's a damn head-on collision, man. Yeah, Brian, it's definitely his toughest test to date. And honestly, he's not had a tough since what? The IBF 154. Yeah, he ain't had a tough shot since the IBF 154. So I feel like the IBF 154 joint against Julian Williams has probably been his toughest opponent, or Austin Trout, but we saw what he did to him, so I don't know. I just think Sergey's a lot tougher, a lot hard-nosed, man. I just think he's going to get it done. Go out back, smoke me a jack real quick. Tank Davis, LSC. Tank Davis, LSC. I think LSC could I think LSC can put Tank into some situations. Styles make fights. It's gonna be great. Facts, man. Look, yo, like you got Jermell Charlo. You got Jermell Charlo versus Banana Rosario. We know this dude don't move his head. We know he don't move his head off the line. All he do is straight vicious shots. You got Jermell. You got Jermell who punched like a damn freight train. So those two, that makes for a cracking ass firecracking fight. Jamal, same thing. So those two fights right there are gonna be off the fucking chain. Shout out to the PBC for the fights. Facts, yeah, shout out to the PBC. And we don't say that enough, bro, because I know y'all got our PBC issues, but we fight fans though. Let's keep it a beam, we fight fans. So when we get good fights, we're gonna salute that. I salute that. Shit, motherfuckers act like, people act like you can't like show love to the PBC when they doing honorable shit. I feel like they put the cards together for us, and like they gonna end off with Nordine. They gonna end off with Nonito versus Nordine. So I'm just like, yo, they giving us great fucking fights, man. Ain't nothing to complain about. Nothing. Nah, I beg the different lines only for real. Man, look, man, I like Jamal. He running his name through the mud with me. He running his name through the mud with me, Dwayne. And I'm gonna just tell you like this, man. Them kids got all the talent in the world. When you got two twin brothers with cracking right hands and left hands like them dudes got, there's no reason they shouldn't be superstars. But if you would have gave them mediocre talent, if you would have did Jamal, if Jamal would have had the same attitude Jamal would have had, Jamal would have already been a star. He would have already been in a big fight. He would have already had, you know, a $10 to $12 million Canelo fight. And he just been fucking off, man. Fighting all of these, been playing weight bully games. Jermell really been wanting competition. So if Jamal continues to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko style opponents, then I'm going to show him his respect. But Jermell on it, man. Jermell is on it. I know, Brian, it's a damn disgrace. No, allegedly, we fight sticking that, allegedly, we fire sticking that thing, Brian. Allegedly. Yeah, man, Martin, man, I really like Banana Rosario, and I think he comes from circumstances. He come up out of the trenches, man, and I don't even think that he wasn't put in that position to win that title, man. He was just put in there to give J-Rock some work until the Jermell fight was supposed to pop off, and he upset the apple cart, bro. Rightfully so. So when you coming up out the motherfucking trenches and you stole your moment, bro, I salute you. And you going straight into the unification? Yeah. Regardless of however it go, he one of the reasons why we getting a top-notch fight. What's the over on Tank missing the weight? Carlos, that's a good question. PD, salute. That's a good question. Chin Smoke, salute. That's a good question because I don't know, but I know that Leo was really on that weight, and I'm sure there is a weight cap after the fact. I'm sure he probably ain't gonna let that man rehydrate no more than probably like, I think he probably won't be able to rehydrate no more than probably like 5 to 7 pounds. If that's the case, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I don't think Leo gonna let him rehydrate like that, because let's be serious. Leo really a natural 126-pound fighter, man. He ain't gonna be able to hydrate to no more than probably like what? Maybe 140 if we lucky. And that'll slow him all the way the fuck down. Brian, that's the fuck $1 million question. That's the $1 billion question. Will he be able to make the weight? Because we already know he went up to 135, not because he wanted to go up there. He had to do something to fucking cover up the fact that he was a fat ass. Tyree, salute. Said Russell talking about he broke Bud's jaw. What's the word? Heard it was a sucker punch. Hold up. Gary Russell talking about he broke Terence Bud Crawford jaw? So what, he snuck him on some shit, like outside of the ring type stuff? I'm confused. Tyrese, you gotta expound upon that for me. Bro, that's why I think the LSC Tank fight is actually a good fight, man, because Tank's so undisciplined about his weight, man. So that might actually, and we know Leo's stamina is on 1,000. So you got a guy who averages over 1,000 punches per fight, going in there and got stamina every round, to a guy that showed in his last fight that he was gassed by the 5th round. He didn't break Bud's jaw, he busted his lip. Hold up, what was they sparring or something? Oh, in the Olympic trials. Okay. That shit ain't about nothing, man. That's two completely different styles of fighting. Phone Jack, salute. He did bust him in his grill. Hey, man. Hey, he fucked the Cadillac grill up a little bit. It happens. That's you know what I mean? That's to be expected, you know, when we love to get punched in the face for a living. You know what I mean? It's on Barbershop Conversation page. He did the interview. One guy said it was a sucker punch, and they flew Bud home the next day. I'm pretty sure it was, because if you know them Charlos, some sneaking motherfuckers. Like, you can't have your back turned around no Charlo, because one of their entourage will sneak you in the back of the head. Yo, the question is though, man, what do they got for our boy Bud though? That's the question, bro, because like Bud got to be in a fight, man. Like, Bud always in a fight, man, but I mean, like, not for me, because I know what kind of type of time Bud on, but Bud got to be in a fight to where it's got to make a statement, bro. That's why I'm honestly thinking, in my opinion, I honestly would just go up, pull a Canelo move, go up to 154, beat up Teixeira for the WBO, then go back down to 147, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, you could make the question where it'd be like, why is Bud Crawford going up to 154 to fight for the WBO belt and not fighting any of the guys at 147 down here? You know what I'm saying? So if he go up there and he beat up Teixeira for that 154, because that's easy work. You ain't even got to bring lunch that day. So why not you go up there, beat up Teixeira, grab the 154 belt, and then after the fight, why is Bud Crawford out here fighting 154 guys? Why ain't Bud Crawford fighting any of the champions at 147? Because he got the WBO belt. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And just let them boys have it. Because, like, he don't have no options at 147. Like, yo, like, realistically, we already know he ain't gonna he's not getting no Ugas fight. Him and Porter not gonna fight. Keith Thurman don't want the body. We know Errol Spence just talking. So the only way I feel like he can make a statement for real, Kell Brook, people gonna say, we know Kell Brook was broken from the Triple G in the Errol Spence fight. So it seemed like the only thing that you really could do to make a statement in your next fight is to go up to 154, beat up Teixeira, take that belt, come back down and become a champion in another division. And then you could really give the conversation like, man, why is this guy going up to 154, beating up another guy for another title, and you got two other champions there? Manny Pacquiao always gonna get a little bit more dismissed because of the age he's at. But Errol Spence ain't really no excuse. Man, Charles D, brother, where I'm at with it, bro, I know he want to unify, fam. I want him to unify. But this the thing, though, bro. Like, maybe he could probably put something in the stipulations to where he go up to 154, not necessarily vacate. He ain't got to necessarily vacate the WBO, He can do the same thing that the WBC did for Usyk when Usyk went up to heavyweight for the first Chaz Witherspoon fight. They could just put his title in recess. If he decided to come back down, he can reclaim that title. And he can just pick the title back up. But like, come on, man, we know, man, look, if he fought Ugas, I think that would tell the story, bro. If he fought Ugas, that would tell the story and then nobody be able to justify it. I don't think Brook can make 147 either, but he's talking like he can make it though. My whole thing is like, really the only legit, out of all the options we have, I think right now the best option, two options that he has is Kell Brook or to go up there and take the belt from Teixeira. Because like nobody is trying to make a fight with this guy. Ugas has already made it clear that he's going for the regular bout route so he can get in position for that WBA. So facts. Go up, do some work. Because if you a casual fan, right? This is where I'm coming at it from, Dwayne. Like if you a casual fan and you know this dude been calling these dudes out, wanting all of the fights. Like really, what can you say about the guy? You're not going to question the dude to go up to 154, smack around guys at a tougher weight classes. We know how tough it is to go up in weight anytime. Smack up another guy with crazier longer dimensions than you at 154, and then you come back down. People really going to look at that shit. 1 + 1 = 2. Like really, why is this nigga going up there? Like, why ain't y'all fighting this dude? He just went up there and reclaimed another belt at 154. Man, these dudes got to do something, man. He is. Brook will make 147. He's never missed weight and he's not ballooning up anymore. Yeah, I agree, man, because honestly, Ellie, like, man, Kell Brook was doing so good in that Triple G fight, bro, but it was just the punch resistance, man. It was just the weight and the punch resistance, man. Like, you could tell the punches was just way different on Triple G end. Because really, as far as the hands, he was beating up Triple G for that 5 rounds with the hands. The combination was going together beautiful. And it was just like, every time Triple G would punch him and he would feel that damage, he would come fighting. He would come out with more fire. But still, bro, you can't. That was too much punishment, man. And I respect his coach for stopping that fight, bro. Because it's like, really, what are you going to do? You're going to go in there and damage yourself even more. And thank God they stopped the fight because his orbital bone was broken. Mayweather held 147 and 154 for long enough. In the second Maidana fight, they were talking about putting both belts on him. Maidana had never even fought at 154. AD, salute. That's a fact. That's why for me, bro, it's just like, that's why I'm like, man, like, yo, I want Bud to win. Any fighter that's fighting, bro, like, we gotta understand it's contact sport. When they doing what they supposed to do, man, I want them to win. Bud is so accomplished, man. He's so fucking talented. It's just like, yo, we can appreciate Lomachenko, and we gonna, you know what I mean, Lomachenko getting all these fights, man. Let's get Bud into some fucking fights too, man. And like, you know, and I just feel like we know them dudes at 147 don't want it, so just go up there and you have the WBO, so go up there and just take the other WBO, bro. And I understand, bro, it's not the conversation that I want to have, man. I really don't want to say, yo, this dude should have to go up to 154 because I'm not one of them dudes who just believe in, yo, when shit ain't working out for you there, you should have to go up and wait. The other guy hands should be forced. But I'm like, man, what other options do dude got? And I'm tired of this nigga getting dragged for the wrong reasons, man. You got a dude that want to fight that can't get no fucking work, man. I just want to see him in the best position possible. And I just don't see what other position that could be for real. Because he just froze out, man, at the PBC. And no, you shouldn't have to sign your life away. That shit is extortion. I think Kell, as much as if not more, left that Thurman. Actually, I'd like to see. Ooh, that'd be a good fight. Brook versus Thurman, that'd be a really good fight. I honestly would like Kell Brook in that fight for the body work, though. For real, I would like to see Virgil Ortiz fight Keith Thurman. That's a fight I'd like to see. I think that's a fight that Virgil could make next. Thurman, I'd actually like to see Brook and Thurman win against Bud. Facts, bro. I feel like where Keith Thurman is at right now, why wouldn't you take the gamble and fight this dude? Like, you go your whole life getting punched in the face, bro. Like, this is the thing, bro. It's more humiliating not to take a chance, man. It's more humiliating to be a fighter and not take a chance when all of the chances are there for you. Keith Thurman more fortunate than Bud Crawford because he actually at the PBC, he has enough star power when he got the gift of gab to where he always can position himself for a title fight. So why not go ahead and make the fight with Bud and then come back with that WBO and then smack up Spence if you can get the WBO. Two questions. How far would Tyson fare against Wilder after a tune-up fight? How would Tyson fare against Wilder after a tune-up fight? Tyson would beat Wilder without a tune-up fight. Right now. Right now. That's all facts. Do you think Mayweather goes undefeated in the early mid-90s? In the early mid-90s to mid-90s. Well, Mayweather's career started in the mid-90s, but I think Mayweather was an any era fighter with any era kind of capabilities, and I just think his ferocity in the 90s, yeah, he would have beat motherfuckers up in his class. Like, I think Mayweather would have stayed the same fighter he was if he wouldn't have messed his hands up. He just had to adapt to it. Exactly. Tyson would tune fucking Wilder ass up real quick. That'd probably be Deontay Wilder. Hey, Mike Tyson would make that fight in a heartbeat. He would fight Deontay Wilder in a heartbeat. That's an easy ass whooping. Easy work, boxing family. Easy work. I promise you. Yo, hands, I saw the Lellaby nose to jump in there, bro. I had to jump in that brother nose twisted. She'll be in the airport sniffing luggage. Bro, I'm telling you, that type of nose was designed to sniff contraband, fam. Like, he has the nose for contraband. That is a police FBI raiding dog type nose right there. He got them type of smelling capabilities, bro. I just think like the whole world, I think for the young boxing fans that came along during the Wilder era and the heavyweight division, because it was a resurgence, considering he was American heavyweight, I don't think people really understood the level of talent that came before, we had to deal with this guy. So I can understand people arguments where they feel like you was hating on him or whatever, or, just the old man thought process or whatever, but nah, that wasn't it. Dude just don't have it. He just didn't have it. He never took it serious, and that's what it is, man. So it wasn't like nobody was going out their way to humiliate Wilder. I think even in like my videos, even in my COVID-19 marathon videos, everything is in proper context. Motherfuckers are not humiliating this guy just cause, bro. Like, we respect all fighters, but this dude put himself in a position to be humiliated. He's lied his whole entire career, man. Facts, Shaw Z, 95, 96. He fight Wilder, Tyson ran in his own backyard. That's a fact. Put his ass up, man, look. Tyson will hit that boy so hard. I'm telling you, right now, Tyson would hit Wilder so hard, he'd retire. Like, we already know Deontay Wilder ain't defensively responsible. Now, who can mirror a peekaboo offense? Who can mirror a 5'10" peekaboo offense besides James the Beast Wilson? And he can't even do it really that good. Nobody has that type of build that Mike Tyson has, that type of size, that type of quick twitch speed and quickness and the ability to change angles the way he changed it. Deontay Wilder can't even defend a fucking jab, let alone think about defending Tyson's body attack and hook combinations always going up and coming downstairs, bro. He wouldn't even know where that shit's coming from. Because Tyson will peekaboo you this way and hit you with the right hand, with the left hand. Wilder skills did for him and lack of skills for real boxing, man. Yeah, like Wilder's skill was talking, and it wasn't a good job at it. And the sad thing is, like, as an American fighter, and as you know, and I don't see in color, but as you know, and as a black man, like, I don't like to root against nobody. You know what I'm saying? I like to give everybody they just do when they deserving of it. But Wilder ain't deserving of all of the fruits that he's received in the heavyweight division. That is like pretty much, I would say, metaphorically speaking, what Deontay Wilder did was comparable to a pimp working a prostitute. Like, he pimped the game, he got the money up out of it. No, Well, Al Heyman pimped him, got the money up out of him. Wilder got the money up out of it, but Wilder really thought he was more than what he was, man. Wilder came in the game and they let him pimp because he was a lackluster American heavyweight. Now the boy, what's his name? Jared Anderson, that signed with, I believe his name is, hey, Charles D, what's the boy name? What's the boy out of, I think that's what, that signed with Jay Prince right now. I think Jared Anderson is his name. Now I like him. Yeah, basically it was like a two-way pimp. It was like a two-way pimping, bro. It was like Wilder got to, you know, walk away with some change. You know what I mean? So he got to pimp a little bit. He got to pimp the fans, and you know, Al Heyman pimped him. But ultimately, you know, he ended up being the biggest hoe of all because he didn't walk away with that 120 million and a legendary fight. George, salute. Appreciate you with the super chat. Fantasy fight. Ooh! Barrera versus Mayweather? Bro, at 126 to 130, that would have been a firefight. That would have been a firefight. Because at that point in Mayweather's career, he was offensive. Like, his offense was his defense for real. He didn't really have to operate. He ain't really operate too much off the back foot. He just operated with speed and precision. And Barrera, he was just going to come forward on you. He was going to lay them heavy hands on you and constantly keep that attack and keep that right and that left in your face constantly. And keep that jab on you, hooking at that body. And Barrera liked to stay at your motherfucking chest too. Barrera wasn't ever afraid to get in that phone booth. Yeah, man, like it's like, yo, Fitch, it's like some serious like 2-3-way pimping going on in the life of Deontay Wilder. It's like, you know, Al Heyman rightfully pimping him, and he think that's his like black power, pro-blackity black brother that don't give a flying fuck about him. Shirley Finkel is like Wilder's handler that makes sure Wilder do all of the stuff that he's supposed to do. Like, they pretty much like curve Wilder's whole thought process. Anything, say if Wilder probably try to take initiative and do things for a spell, so they gonna curve that shit. Just like when Wilder was taking initiative when he saw Tyson Fury sign that $100 million ESPN deal. When he signed that $100 million ESPN deal, he wanted the motherfucking he was trying to take his career in his own hands right then. But rightfully so, they pulled him up out of that deal. Because remember when he did the interview with Fight Hype, when he was talking shit about Dillian White failing the so-called failing the piss test, allegedly. And they asked him, they were like, you know, do you believe that it was in good faith? How close were you to taking the offer? Wilder said, and then who spoke for him? Mr. Smithers, of course. Talking about some, well, you know, we do believe in good faith that, you know, they meant good by the deal, and, you know, we believe that he's going to make more money doing this and that. Now look at Wilder. He on the sideline right now, hiding in a freaking cave, hiding in the same fucking cave that Saddam Hussein used. Troy Clang, salute. Appreciate you, bro. Glad you tuning in, digging the boxing talk. Yeah, man, definitely a cherry pick going wrong. And these are the things that I was alluding to, and I kept trying to tell everybody. I said, yo, y'all remember, like, as soon as the turn of even December, leading up into the new year, leading into 2020, I kept saying, the rain is soon over. The rain is soon over. There's a reason why I kept making that like my moniker, because like I knew what was gonna happen. We knew that he fought a 50% Tyson Fury that just couldn't finish it. When he went to that fight, we knew it was gonna happen. Now, did we know it was going to go that bad? We knew he was going to get beat. Now, did we know it was going to be that devastating? Probably not. But we knew that was going to happen. How can he preach pro-black with Shelly in his corner and he helped screw Mike? That's a fact. Like, you know, that's my thing. It's like you got all of this pro-black talk, but you had two homosexual white men make your suit. Your manager is a white man who pretty much handles you and tells you what to do. I haven't heard, man, Deontay Wilder, the only decision Deontay Wilder can make in the morning for real, is what underwear is he gonna wear that day. If he lucky. Honestly, I don't think the gloves were funny at all. Look, like if you look at Tyson Fury's hands and how big his hands are, you could tell where his fingers were all the way in the glove. You can tell, like, man, I don't believe in that. Like, you like, what happened was, you got your ass beat. That was a good old-fashioned devastating ass whooping, and you never thought, and there was no way that you could save it because you didn't believe he had the power to put you on the canvas and white flag you like that. So what it was even if you thought you was going lost, you had Kenny Bayless and you had the judges to kind of try to save you a little bit. The glove argument is bullshit. He went 1 through 7 rounds completely being outclassed. Then he went the first fight being outclassed 9 out of freaking 12 rounds. So really, are we talking about a glove right now? We need to be talking about skill sets. That's my thing with the people. Y'all talking about a glove, talk about his skill set. Talk about the things he dismissed. Let's talk about Wilder's favorite line here. Everybody has to be perfect for 12 rounds and I only had to be perfect for 2 seconds. Let's talk about he loses every round leading up to his knockouts. It had nothing to do with gloves. Shit. If anything, I would have said Johan Duhaupas or Gerald Washington or somebody was on some wild shit. That would have made it more believable because these are bum dudes who was taking you to school in the ring. And I kept telling everybody since I started this channel, Johan Duhaupas gave the blueprint on how to beat Deontay Wilder. Fury shattered the man physically and mentally. He will never be the same. First outboxes, then he beat him the fuck up. Street fight by Fury. That's a fact. Like I always say on my channel, beats by Tyson Fury. Now wear the motherfucking headphones. All hooks, beats by Tyson Fury. Yeah, think Cap, that glove argument is bullshit, man. It's bullshit, man. And like anybody who genuinely believes in that, they should be smacked, yo. No room in the glove to open and close the hand to move between being problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, that dude's hands is too fucking big. There's no way Tyson Fury can slide his freaking hand down to the wrist and his hand and palm not be exposed, bro. His freaking hands are too big. And they got Paul Bunyan hands. And they think Finkel and Heyman are Wilder's best interest. Yo, this is what I ask people when everybody talk about the PBC plan. Now, do y'all believe that Shakur Stevenson would have the same career that he has right now if he would have signed the PBC? I'll wait. The Gypsy King piece is a fact. I buy them shits real quick. Wilder is a joke of a boxer. He wants to go in the W. Man, yo, and the crazy thing is, Darren Hall, this motherfucker been a wrestler. He been an actor his whole damn career, bro. Like, this dude really did come in, pimp the game of boxing, man, got a fucking shitload of cash out of it, bro. But the thing is, he can't walk away with his head high from boxing. He got to walk away humiliated. He put himself in a real compromising position, and unfortunately, these are the things like, yo, when you chastise people, okay, I'll speak for myself. You a content creator, fantasy fight, Foreman versus Holmes. Ooh, the jabber versus the puncher. That would've been a hell of a good freaking heavyweight fight. Man, like, yo, when you Deontay Wilder, bro, like, this is the thing as a content creator. When I say what I say about Deontay Wilder in my videos, and when I tell the truth about his skill set and all of that shit, I'm not doing it to, like, you know, make people not like this guy. What I'm doing it to make you constantly aware of the decisions you making in your freaking career and how it's gonna expose you in the long run. And bro, people think that it's like, people think you trying to chastise the dude or you being pessimistic, but no, you really trying to help the dude. And it's constructive criticism that builds you, not ego stroking a motherfucker. When you ego stroke a motherfucker, that's going to ultimately be their demise. But when you tell a person the truth, that's what's going to potentially save this guy and save his career. All the times we were trying to talk about his skill set, we were trying to save this guy's career, and he didn't take heed to it. Now look at him. He on the canvas, flailing, falling, getting beat up, getting shit knocked out his ass, getting dents put in his head. Like, come on. I tried to save you from the car accident. Don't be mad at me. Fuck. You can't be mad at me. I tried to save motherfuckers from this guy. Like, yo, you can't sit up there. Like, yo, low key, right? I had somebody make me an offer to be on this this podcast. Like the podcast is actually, somebody actually came to me and made me an offer to be on a podcast or whatever, right? And pretty much, you know, host this podcast. I wasn't gonna get paid anything, but the platform was kind of bigger than mine. So they basically was like, yo, you get more eyes on you or whatever. But I would have had to curve how I did my content. I'm not doing that. I'm not throwing away the truth just so I can ego stroke a bunch of boxers and keep lying to the damn casual public just like a bunch of motherfuckers do. Fuck all of that. I'd rather stay in the position I'm in because look, that's the problem with these boxers now, and that's why we keep getting a softer crop of boxers, because people don't tell them the truth. You don't got them Howard Cosell, them Teddy Atlases, you know what I'm saying, and guys like that is constantly in your face telling you what you're doing wrong, like yo, Emmanuel Stewart types, shit like that. Guys that'll tell you the truth, the old school way of doing shit. Why would I go to be on your, if you sought me out and you come to find me to be on your platform to be a personality, and you acting like you gonna help me out. If you seeking me out and you finding me and you acting like you giving me an opportunity to talk boxing, but you want me to curve my content, you need me more than I need you, because obviously you feel as though I bring something to the table. Nah, why am I going, if I came in the truth, I'm not gonna leave a lie. And that's the problem. Deontay Wilder came in a lie and he act like he was gonna leave the truth. Nah, you gonna get found out. What's done in the dark always come to light. Like, yo, no amount of money will make me sell my soul, bro. Sell my soul for a couple more subscribers. Sell my soul to be able to say that I can mingle or be kiki with a couple boxers or nothing like that. Because honestly, like, yo, your money or your position or what the camera might do for you, it don't do the same thing for me. And I don't give a fuck about your star power or nothing like that. I give a fuck about people, real people that's grounded to earth, real grounded and connected with boxing or whatever. I'm not here to deceive no motherfucking boxing fans, the ego stroke no cocksucking boxers. Damn that. Further is Wilder and Anthony Joshua versus the heavyweight division. I don't know how any of those guys would have fared. I don't think Fury would have had the punch to do well in the heavyweight division in the 70s. I think Joshua would have been too green. I think he would have got found out quick, even though he's got the type of mentality for it to keep coming back. I think Joshua would have fared better than Fury and Wilder, because we saw Fury fall apart when he reached his success. Wilder didn't have the skill set, period. Joshua was just too green with the mentality. I feel as though Joshua would have probably took a couple ass whoopings, got beat down, sharpened steel, came back better, and would have fared better in that 70s era in boxing. Now, Tyson Fury, you know, he would have had the skill set, but he wouldn't have had the punch to back it, because in the 70s, there was skill set and there was punching power. You know what I mean? I think a guy like, you know, a Ron Lyle, I think a guy like a Ernie Shavers would have probably put some pop on him or something like that, and Fury probably wouldn't have got up from that. Now, Joshua would have definitely hit the canvas too. Wilder would have hit the canvas first round. Joshua would have hit the canvas or whatever, but Joshua would have came back, got right straight back in the gym to it and tried to reclaim it, like, okay, these dudes is better than me. Now I need to prove that I'm the best. He would have kept going to the gym, getting his ass kicked by guys that get better. Kind of like Black Hercules Ken Norton did with Smoking Joe Frazier to whoop himself into shape for Muhammad Ali. Actual facts, my brother, salute. You think he lose the next fight, bro? Do I think who loses the next fight? What's up, Mr. Two Hands? Why those idiot fanboys hyping up F.A. Ajagba? I don't know why they hyping up F.A. Ajagba, because F.A. Ajagba was trash when he was with the PBC. He's slow as hell. He don't put his punches together really good. Like, there's so many, he don't got footwork. There's a lot of things that F.A. Ajagba is going to need to work on if he wants to get better. And the first thing I feel as though he need to do is leave Ronnie Shields, because I don't think Ronnie Shields is working out well for him, nor was the PBC. He ain't getting enough fights over at the PBC, and now that he's coming up more, they're going to fight him less a year. He would have to go somewhere where he can get more activity. He really could, you know, hone in his skills, and I think he could become I think F.A. could be the best thing to do with F.A., because he got such a steep learning curve, is try to make him the best phone booth fighter that you can make him. Put him inside, press him to the fucking action for real, and try to make him a pressure bully fighter, because he is so strong, because he is so big. Other than that, I don't think trying to make F.A. a pure boxer is something you could do. I think that you will have more problems trying to make F.A. a slicker boxer and more defensively responsible than putting him face to face with somebody, making him a pressure heavyweight and trying to get guys out of there within 12 rounds or less by knockout though. He's not. He ain't never going to be a decision guy. I think guys like Ike Abiabuchi. I think guys like, you know, Chris Bird, if he would have had the chin. I think guys like, you know, man, shit. Yeah, there was a few guys, you know, Ray Mercer, Samuel Peters. Like a lot of those guys had good skills and intangibles to hang with those guys. I think they really would have filled out that golden era division a lot. I think it would have been a lot more competition too. And I think guys like Tu and a lot of those guys, they would have fared well in those. They would have fared well in those. Whereas especially guys like Tim Witherspoon, those guys would have did very well. They would have did very well, and it would have been a lot more stock in that division too. Fah Ajagba don't have no chin. He don't have no chin at all. What was that bald head white cat? He smacked his ass with that motherfucking right or left hand, and that nigga went down. His computer shut down quick. So if you get hit by that guy and that guy take you to the floor, anybody in the top 10, and he would be on the lower behalf of the top 10, I don't think that he would want to get in there with a Philip Hrgovic or nothing like that. I don't even think like you wouldn't want no Joe Joyce, you wouldn't want no Daniel Dubois, you wouldn't want no Philip Hrgovic for real. I think for real, I don't even think Fah Ajagba would be smart for him to even fight attack him or Kevin Johnson right now. I don't even feel like that. I honestly think that, you know, I'd say about 3 or 4 fights from now, throw him in with a Kevin Johnson, see what he do, and then see how you move him along. Because Fah Ajagba is nowhere near ready. Like I said, that boy's learning curve is hella steep. Hella steep. Partial con ed payment, facts. You know, and that's because everybody else talk to say otherwise, because them motherfuckers probably don't look at boxing like that. And like if you look at the crop of heavyweights in the 90s, they were just as hard-nosed and just as gritty as the fighters in the 80s and the 70s, for real. It was just like, you know, the talent pool was just so deep from the 60s all the way through the 90s, but really from the 60s and 70s era, early 80s, the talent pool was so deep, it just switched a little bit in the 90s. I just think that, you know, I think that those guys would have did all right. I think they would have did better than all right, for real. I think, like, once again, steel sharpens steel. So I just think if you would have put those guys in those positions where they could have had those bouts with those other guys that were just a little bit better than them, they would have did all right. Like I said, and honestly, I just feel like when it comes down to weights and divisions, I feel like, you know, eras, the one thing that don't change is hands. Hands don't change. That's why it's so easy to talk about other fighters and now. I just feel like, you know, them guys would have just had to have guys like those. You would have had to have 5 Ike Abiabuchis, 5 David Tuas, all around those divisions and stuff like that to be able for them dudes to stay on that level. I feel like if Abiabuchi would have never got locked up once again, I felt like he was gonna be the dude that lead the heavyweight division. Like, I felt like he was gonna be the dude that bodied the Klitschko's and all of that. I don't feel like we would have went through that whole Dr. Steelhammer period. But I feel like the 90s heavyweights were the last era that had something of real substance to offer to the heavyweight division. And then it started to switch to the 175 class down to, down to 126. That's when the talent never really shifted there. It actually got increasingly better. You could definitely see you had your Oscar De La Hoyas, you had your Pretty Boy Floyds, you had your Chico Corrales, you had your Barrera, you had, you know, you had your El Toribes, you had, you know, your Roy Joneses, you had your B-Hops, you had your Tarvers, you had your Jermaine Taylors, you even had your Kelly Pavliks, you had so many guys, man. Like, see, it just seemed like it just switched. We started losing American heavyweights, but then we had a whole bunch of talent from 175 to 126. Ridiculous. I just think that, you know, man, it was just like, yo, the thing about the fighters that we grew up on and stuff like that, those guys were well put together. They weren't no glorified mitt workers, man. They weren't guys who just sat there and just worked the pads. They really ran. They really chopped down. They really chopped wood. What is one of the things that Floyd Mayweather still did all the way up until retirement to get himself in shape? Chop wood. Hit the tire with the sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying? Or take the sledgehammer and just bang, you know what I'm saying, hard earth. Stuff like that. Put in that work. You know what I mean? Strap the log to your back with the rope around you running uphill. That type of work. You know, they just, it's more like, it seemed like it's more stamina and more letting your hands go to try to see that you can increase, you know, your punch output per round. But as a heavyweight, and this puts shit in perspective, as a heavyweight, Ike Ibeabuchi and David Tua, when they fought, they had the record for the most punches thrown in a heavyweight fight per round up until that damn Kaunowski versus Areola match. And those guys don't have the skill set that they have. So if that puts anything in perspective, man, if heavyweights were punching like that back then, the training regimen's definitely a change, because I see a lot of these dudes getting gassed out. And if you notice a lot of things, the rounds they fought were a lot longer back in the day too. Them dudes never took off rounds the way these young guys take off rounds right now. Boxing Jedi, salute, Brody. They never took off rounds the way they take off right now. And these dudes take off a lot of rounds. Yeah, I got Ibeabuchi would have bodied them boys for real. Cause I got Ibeabuchi could punch. He had a crazy workout. He had a crazy work rate, punch output. He had fluent footwork. He moved his head and shoulders, stayed moving off the line. He was a talented fighter, man. And you know, I feel like America, you know, America really dropped the ball in not seeing his talent and overlooking it with the, you know, the Chris Birds and David Tuas of the world. We all wanted David Tua to be that Hawaiian Mike, but really, Ibeabuchi was just better, man. Yeah, it definitely is the Charmin era. It's that Charmin triple ply era. Straight triple ply era. All softies, man. All softies. Yeah, man. Like you can't really like it's like, yo, if you a boxing fan, the first thing you talk about is Deontay Wilder when it's pertaining to the heavyweight division, bro, you ain't a boxing fan. I'm sorry. Tell me the nail and salute. Tell me you get that tweet I sent you yesterday. I added you in. I just feel like these dudes, man, like these dudes they've been blessed now that they have, because y'all know, like the 90s on down, the higher ups were a firm believer in matchmaking, the best fighting the best. There was no ducking, there was no curving it for the business, the money and all of that. The money came with the top dog fights. Now in this era, it seems like they're more coddled and hugged to the tit for being able to duck potentially great fights that could elevate your valor and elevate your status. I think they changed all of that to be like, yo, let's be safe. I don't even want to risk losing this guy. I would rather have this guy in safer fights and be able to milk more money out of him and keep the allure around his name than risk putting him in here with another live dog and risk him losing. Now we have that type of protection plan all across the board, so it just seems like it's just constantly shifting. Like for real, we don't got no Wheaties box fighters no more, man. No Wheaties box fighters no more, man. We got triple ply fighters. Maybe a combination of the two with a few other factors. You think it's due to the pay scale and the money given to these guys, or it's they don't have the work ethic? I think it's a combination. And then I think it's a combination too of suffering. And then I think it's another microcosm. A third of it is suffering in silence. Silence too, actual fact. I think that some of these guys believe the trust in the process so much, and that whole subconscious Al Heyman knows best, stuck in the back of their mind, that they truly believe that they can trust Al Heyman instead of taking their careers in their own hand. And then there's other guys that are fearful in boxing, that do have a level of talent, that truly don't want to work. who are comfortable with like, yo, saying, being dismissive, saying, hey, whatever Al Heyman want me to do and my team want me to do, I'm gonna go with that. But not speaking from the perspective of a prospect, speaking from the perspective of a guy who needs to be in a real fight. They just comfortable being dismissive of any other talent and saying, hey, I'm gonna let Al handle it, because they don't want to be in them wars. Some guys, I don't think they take their career in their hands. Some guys just don't want to be in wars, and then I think it's definitely a combination of skills that as well. So I think it's a multitude of things that make up the reason why these fighters go through stuff like this for real. And you know, it's almost impossible to be like factual unless it comes out as public record. The only thing you can kind of do is hypothetically like be as sound hypothetically as you can and try your best to put two and two together of what it is outside of what the news is already offering, and just basically just using basic common sense outside of that, because really we don't know, because it could be a fighter being held back, it could be a fighter not wanting to fight, it could be promotion not wanting to believe in the fighter. But I've seen guys like Roy Jones, who was their own promoter and come up, who did all of their matchmaking and make their own fights, who didn't want to sign to a promotional outfit, who turned around and did it because his way didn't work at first until they figured it out. I don't think some of these guys are really being smart with their decisions, man. Yeah, Tank is definitely a prime example. See, Tank will be dismissive of the other talent in his weight class, and he got talent, and he'll be like, oh, I'll defer to Al, or whatever my team want me to do, when clearly, when you know Floyd jumps up and speaks for him, you know he's doing that because he don't want him to speak truthfully. He don't want him to say, I want Lomachenko next. I want this person next, because a fighter could really feel like he wants this individual next, and they just not get it based off of the fact that the promotional team don't want it, bro. That's why I feel like, yo, if you really want these fights and they stopping you from it, hey, you got to have that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. mentality. You got to have that Amir Khan mentality at the PBC, to where you got to be like, yo, bump that, tell Al like Deontay Wilder did to make the Fury 2 fight, or tell them dudes or go straight to Golden Boy, Canelo, and inquire about those fights and make those fights happen. Because if you're just going to sit around and think that these guys are going to make your career what you want it to be, it's not going to do that. And just you being the best boxer and just foregoing the business isn't going to do that as well. Because we've seen when boxers just fight, they get screwed on the business end. So you got to be well versed in both. I'd say that you would have to have your hands in both, and then come in the game with somebody on your behalf, on your legal team, to make sure they check all of them boxes, man. And honestly, I think fighters should put something stipulated in their contract, kind of like what Naoya Inoue did with Osashi Jim when he first signed as a pro, that he would take on the toughest fights that are available the entirety of his career. He wanted no tune-up fights. He wanted no easy fights. So I feel like if other fighters stipulate those type of guidelines, you really can't refute where they at. You would know they want all of the smoke. So all I'm saying is, man, just be more proactive about what it is you really want. You got young fighters not wanting to fight when their promoters tell them, Ryan Garcia, absolutely. And that's what I say is just pure, spoiled, prima donna, new age, glorified networker shit. You want to be pretty. You got your little Instagram following and stuff like that. This man already made you the highest paid prospect in boxing. Then you complain about the deal. He changed the contract around again. Now you back to complaining about money again when you were supposed to fight on the 4th of July. What are we talking about right now? This dude is a prima donna. He's a prima donna. Shakur Stevenson made $300K to fight in a championship fight. And you're not happy with the $200,000 that you were getting, and you just got this same time around last summer, you pulled the same shit when it came to Romero Dunno and your contract. All I'm saying is, bro, I don't have no sympathy for this kid, man. This kid literally makes excuses about everything, but then always mentions Tank Davis' name, Jorge Linares' name, Luke Campbell's name, and all of these other guys' name. Now, him fighting Luke Campbell, I mean, I feel like he should fare very well in that fight. If you can't fare well in the fight against Luke Campbell, then dude, you already telling me where you at. Sport icon, salute, brother. Good. It definitely gives me a good idea where these guys at. My thing is, oh, I never said nothing about that too. Man, did y'all see the picture with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, how they just randomly ran into each other on some vacation? Now, I don't think that's pure coincidence. I think something going on. This is what I'm thinking, low key. And now don't cut me up. Don't freaking cut me at the jugular for thinking this, y'all. I think that Anthony Joshua could be potentially thinking about dropping belts and making the fight. Like, realistically, like, come on, man. Anthony Joshua was supposed to have 2 more fights before he can even meet up with Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury got to fight Dillian White or whatever. What if Tyson Fury, now Tyson Fury might take the Dillian White fight, or Tyson Fury don't take the Dillian White fight, let the WBC go, still stays ring and lineal. Anthony Joshua gives up the WBO and then goes in there WBA, IBF, IBO, and it'd be a ring lineal match instead of undisputed being on the table. But the belts would still be in that matchroom circle though, because Alexander Usyk is mandatory for the WBO, and we already know Dillian White will get elevated as the champion, so it wouldn't be like the belts would be in a position where you can't get them back. I think that they might be looking at the situation like, yo, let's not even risk taking an L right now. Let's just go ahead and get into this and get a people the biggest fight that the world is ever going to see. I don't know, Zero. I understand that. I'm just saying, don't cut me at the jugular. I'm just hypothetically speaking. Maybe. Why wouldn't you though? We've seen, if we just look at reoccurring history from 2018 up until now, we've seen guys take losses. We've seen big fights get stopped in a few divisions due to surprising loss. We've seen the 154 division go up in arms due to freaking Jared Hurd taking a loss, due to J-Rock taking a loss. All I'm saying is, let's just look at recent events. Let's just have a moment of nostalgia here and look at how everything went just for those 2 years, and just look at this right now. I don't feel like it would be Anthony Joshua foregoing an opportunity undisputed. I look at it like, yo, we'd still be getting the biggest fight in the world. We know these guys are still 2 of the best heavyweights in the world. And I mean, shoot, if you grab the other rings, I mean, if Dillian White and Usyk are in control of the other 2, it ain't gonna make you hard to still get them. Or shit, whoever wins could cap off their career and still go out if they want to go undisputed and cap off and still have a hell of a career and a hell of a legacy. I'm just saying, I'm not shooting down the idea that that's a bad idea, that say if he was to drop the belt, because look at the freaking hurdles he has to go through to even get to that fight. And realistically, what do we all want right now? We all want that fight. I understand we want the jewelry that's attached to it, but what is more important? Us getting that fight, because we ultimately know that these 2 gentlemen are the 2 best heavyweights in the world. The fight is not as big though, and AJ's #1 goal is to be undisputed. Doesn't matter who has the belts, he won't just delete all of this hard work. I don't see it. I could understand that, and I can understand your objectivity, but all I'm asking you is to be a little bit more, is to just have, you gotta play devil's advocate here. Okay, I wouldn't consider it, the world wouldn't, I don't think that the world would look at it like Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury is just letting go all of their hard work. I would look at it like the rest of the world is looking at it like, man, these 2 gentlemen aren't being dictated by 2 frivolous fights that don't even make any sense to them, other than the 2 belts that Anthony Joshua has and the right that he has to, fight his mandatory stipulations. I would be looking at it just based solely off of the fact of, what does that fight matter if this gentleman, Anthony Joshua, has 2 fights, Kubrat Pulev and Alexander Usyk. There is no guarantee that he wins those 2 fights. Tyson Fury has to fight Dillian White. There is no guarantee Tyson Fury wins that fight. So does that fight still make sense if those gentlemen lose? What does that fight mean to us if those gentlemen lose? And I'm not saying that a person should have the mentality of thinking that an individual is going to lose or a fighter should have the mentality of a loser, but I'm just saying, hey, probability is a thing in life. Probability is real. So I'm just saying, we just got to look at it like this, man. How much shit do we take that we don't want, and how much shit that we do want that we really don't get and we really need? For the betterment of boxing, for the betterment of fight fans and everything, I would just say, man, it might be smart to forego the hurdles, man. AJ will knock out Fury. How he knocked out man Khan. I believe AJ wins that fight too. My thing is, I wouldn't want them to, right, if I just, okay, the reason my mind started operating the way it's working right now is because the picture. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And if I'm looking at the situation right now, I'm just like, there's no way that you will be promoting a fight. You will be promoting a fight when you know that you have 2 fights and Tyson Fury could potentially have 1 or 2 fights before you guys could even meet up. There's no guarantee that you guys could win those events. We've seen hiccups with Otto Wallen. We've seen hiccups with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz on his journey to greatness. So we've seen hiccups in boxing. So what I'm saying is, what would be the biggest hiccup and the biggest upset of the apple cart of them all if either one of those gentlemen loses? Because when Anthony Joshua lost, what changed? The rational sense of belief that he was a top heavyweight. And if Tyson Fury loses for any reason, what changes? His status as a heavyweight, where he is a heavyweight, and that fight loses the luster. So I'm just saying, I don't want the fights to lose the steam. I would rather have WBA, IBF, WBO, ring, lineal, and only have to wrap up the other 2 still putting on the biggest fight in the world, because but let's be realistic here. Nobody is going to be paying attention to. Nobody's going to be paying attention to, well, they don't have the other 2 belts. Everybody going to be paying attention to the fight. The fact that these dudes is fighting, like, let's be serious here. Dillian White, Deontay Wilder, all of these dudes' whole world go on pause when that fight is made. Every division's whole world goes on pause when that fight is made. So I'm just saying, I can understand it if that's the case. So for me, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'm just like, my hypothetical gears are just turning a little bit. Don't mind the cogs, they just turning. I'm just thinking that could just be the case. They don't need to vacate WBL, IBO, Ring Mag, and the lineal. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, sporting icons. Absolutely. Sorry for shooting you down on this. I just can't see it in any way. I understand, and I don't expect. I understand. But see, Zero, I understand. I understand your love for Anthony Joshua. Mine is equally there as well. And I'm just saying, like, realistically, I wouldn't want Anthony Joshua to drop titles. When is the last time we've seen an undisputed champion? And we haven't had an undisputed champion since the inception of the 4 belts. Lennox was the last 3-belt undisputed holder. Like, so all I'm saying is, I understand the need to want them first, but I mean, we got to be realistic of the hurdles these guys are going to have to jump here. And all I'm saying is, it becomes a nail-biting process when we have to sit and we have to assess. Is this guy going to make it through this fight? If he doesn't make it through this fight, oh, fuck, another mega fight is blown. Now, let's think about this here. If Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua's fight is blown due to a loss, that's going to be the second thing that would be monumental for boxing in the heavyweight division that it so desperately needs thrown to the wayside, because honestly, I think that the heavyweight division needs a super fight more than it just needs an undisputed champion. I think that a super fight is necessary. I don't think that an undisputed champion is so necessary. I understand that both of these fighters come from the UK, and I understand it. I get it. If anybody gets it, I get it. But my thing is, what I don't want to get, what I don't want to happen, what I'm not thinking, I don't live my life in doubt. I live my life in rational hypothesis and probability. I don't want the fight to be stopped for any reason. So I think it means more to boxing for us to have the fight than us to not have, for us to risk losing it and it going to somebody else. Because I mean, like, let's be serious. There's a Kubrat Pulev versus say Tyson Fury undisputed. Sound good to y'all? I'm just saying, mix the fighters that are in the mix, mandatory situation or not, that could be potentially in that spot for, say, if it's all about undisputed. And say, could that potentially, would you want to see those guys there than see the two guys that you know that should be rightfully king? Whoever wins, they have that right. I'm just saying. We know who we want to be there. We know what boxing needs to be there. It's no different than the NBA and the NFL in this reference. It's like, yo, the Carolina Panthers were the freaking great team. It was the team, we all wanted to see. They did great. Cam Newton did great things that season. Everybody wanted to see Carolina win that Super Bowl. But Peyton Manning was the more popular pick. The Broncos, Elway was the more popular team. It was the more popular organization. So it made more sense for them to have the Broncos win that Super Bowl than Carolina. Same thing they do with basketball when the refs be calling the extra fouls and stuff because they want certain people to win. Now in boxing's regard, as just a content creator, as a boxing fan, enthusiast, etc., my whole thing is I always put boxing first, and it's always my thing to tell y'all to honor the game. And I know we want an undisputed champion. I know both of these great champions come from, you guys' side of the pond and everything. But what we need is a super fight in the heavyweight division to get the, to get everything moving. To get everything moving and to get more eyes on the sport. Boxing was behind badminton, bro. Badminton. We just need this fight, and we don't need any one of these guys to catch an L. I know AJ beats Fury, so without the belts, it's no point. I mean, who isn't gonna have belts? What I'm saying is, it would only be one belt dropped off, and it might be the WBC. So I'm just saying, it ain't like regardless of whether if they drop that belt, if they drop those belts, they just say with mandatory stipulations involved, if they drop those belts, in my eyes, for really, do y'all still not see those guys the number 1 and number 2 heavyweights of the world? Or is it just the fact that medal's not in front of y'all face, it just don't make it worth it for y'all? Because the fight is still the fight. Whether it's 2 pieces of jewelry missing from whether it's 2 pieces of jewelry missing from the chest or not, the fight is still the fight. Like, we got to be more understanding. We got to be able to let some things go for the greater good sometimes. And I don't expect people to agree with me here. I'm just lending perspective because we have to objectively and respectfully look at it from both sides. Look at what does that picture mean? What could those things entail, and what could really be taking place here? And I don't want people to be surprised if something like that takes place. And I want you to embrace it, and I don't want you to look at these guys like no pansies made the wrong decision, because it would still be the right decision on behalf of boxing. Absolutely, Troy. It would be crippling to the division if one of those gentlemen lose. That's where I'm at, man. If they drop the belts, I lose some interest in that fight. And it's no longer a way for undisputed because Mando's interims or limbs fighting new champions. Well, I'm just saying, we waiting for Mando's. We still waiting for Kubrat Pulev. Then we're going to be waiting for Usyk. Usyk already said that he is not willing to wait. Like, Usyk is not willing to wait. So, and I mean, like, regardless of whether Usyk ain't fought on the heavyweight level or not, this is Alexander Usyk talking about here. There's no guarantee that Anthony Joshua wins that fight. I still believe that Anthony Joshua has learning curves with all the ability, because we got to understand, Anthony Joshua just jumped off the porch hella aggressive with a lot of belief in himself, and his belief brought him to the promised land. And he's close to being on the cuffs of something monumental, something that very few ever get to achieve. But at the same time, dudes can lose, man. He don't have just one fight, bro. He got 2 of them motherfuckers. Then what you think gonna happen with Tyson Fury got to fight Dillian White. Y'all might think Tyson Fury just a shoe-in to win that fight. I don't. I think Dillian White can beat him. I don't think that's a shoe-in win for Tyson Fury. This is what I'm saying. Like, let's be realistic here. Kubrat Pulev doesn't weigh no bearing on my thought process, but a punch is a punch. Anybody could be dropped for it. You get popped properly right here, or right here. You could potentially go, or right here. It could be over for you that quick. That quick. Just saying. And say if he does lose, you go through another position where it's got to be a rematch clause. It gets pushed back even more. Then what happens? More mandatories is coming up. Shit like that. Both sides and Joshua got more to deal with. All I'm saying is, bro, we got to be realistic here. Nobody is promised the undisputed match tomorrow. Nobody. And as much as we want to see it, as much as these might be our guys, as much as we may like them, there's no guarantee that those things are going to take place. So what I'm saying is, I'd rather see him have some of it than lose it all and we don't even get any of it. Leonard Ellerby's no salute. I'm going to check that out, Sport Icons. Just heard your interview. Wow, man, great stuff. Yeah, man, Sport Icons, man, that's the bro. Definitely got to subscribe. The Last Red Squirrels, appreciate you on the super chat, brother. Exactly, Sport Icons. That's exactly how I feel. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are bigger than the belts. They are bigger than the belts, man. And like, I'm just using rational hypothetical thinking, man. Like, and we have to use, you know, because we the reasonable boxing mind, Sport Icons. You guys in the comment section that's listening in, we are all the reasonable, rational boxing minds that really put all things in perspective. So it would be completely dismissive of me not to put these things into perspective because I've been on vacation, so I ain't even really like thought about that picture because it was gonna be a conversation for the live amongst other guests as well. But I'm just putting everything into perspective. Like, it really doesn't bother me if that happens. It really doesn't. Like, because at this point, the fight is most important. The fighters are who the fighters are. I know they're the two best fighters in the world, and whoever wins that fight is the best in the world. Now, we already know Anthony Joshua is a T-1000 Terminator kind of spirit. He will keep going. He will come back for those belts. If he beats Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he might feel like, you know, hey, I've collected them all. I'm good. I know, you know, I've solidified my legacy or whatever. He might feel like he good. So all I'm saying is, man, like, we just got to, like, yo, these dudes is 30 and 31 right now. They 30 and 31 right now, y'all. They in their prime. They cracking. The strength is real. The strength is real. Victor Bada, salute my brother. The strength is real, bro. And that fight, you could put that fight on the freaking moon, and we all gonna find a way to hop a fucking mothership to get there. We all gonna be trying to call on ET to get on the moon to watch that shit. Virgin Mobile flights, anyone? Shit's big, salute. My brother always showing support. I feel you, man. I just want to see it just as much as the next man. Man, Zero, like, yo, we've had this conversation so many times, brother. You know how I feel about both of these guys. You know how I feel about Undisputed. And you know how I feel about wanting, you know, you and your countrymen to have that on y'all soil. Ultimately, I just want to see that fight take place. But at the end of the day, I got to be realistic with myself to say, hey, it might be a little bit selfish in my thought process and a little bit unrealistic if we continue to just keep putting these great fucking fights off for the thought of this amount of corn, or the thought of this belt or that belt standing in the way of it, because the belts don't make the fighters. It's just a good little side piece to go with them. A champion, yeah, man, a champion in your heart and in your state of mind. You just wear the pretty little trinkets and stuff on your way to the ring. Like, bro, like, at the end of the day, we know who these guys are. We know what they are to the heavyweight division. Man, so look, if that's what it's going to be, all I'm saying is, y'all, man, embrace it and understand. Don't just think about like, yo, man, they done fuck the Undisputed fight. Nah, think about it like this. They're trying to not fuck they're not trying to fuck what is, for me, it's going to still be the Undisputed fight for me, but they not trying to fuck what is, man. And I understand it, man. Like, what is everybody talking about right now in boxing? Fury and Joshua. Nothing else matters, and ways to get around it so they can see Fury and Joshua, man. AJ has always been at all those tough fights. Those mandatory responsibilities are what they're all running from. That's like they should be fighting one another, but they all let him do it all alone. Absolutely, I agree. You know, it's just the fact, you know, Anthony Joshua takes on, and that's the thing, bro. It's like when you watch a guy that's willing to go through the fire constantly, 24/7, man, and you know, and being that guy that goes through the fire is ultimately when you fight the caliber opponents that Anthony Joshua fights. I don't see why anybody would be surprised if he did catch a loss or when he did lose. When you're the type of fighter that Anthony Joshua is, you're going to lose a fight. And if you don't, goddamn it, you're going down as one of the best. That's just the facts of it. Anthony Joshua don't take no short-change matches, man. And you already heard this kamikaze. You heard this kamikaze motherfucker out his own mouth. If he had to pick between one of the two fights right now, who does he want? He want Usyk. He always want to challenge himself. When you know you got to want to challenge yourself like that, I'm just saying, man, a second loss is not going to be that forgiving, and it ain't going to be forgiving for the matchup either. The matchup dead. I don't know who Anthony Joshua is. Anybody lose, that matchup dead, man. That matchup don't mean shit no more. They're going to be looking for the next guy to talk about them the way we talk about them too. But you can't, though, because they special. They different. You just not going to be able to, guys like this just don't come around every fucking day, every fucking month. You don't see one of them walk in the gym all the time. And they just ain't made through just technical ability. You born with shit like that. Exactly, Vic. We wanted that fight yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this fight popping. You know, let's get this fight popping and let's appreciate whatever that process may be. Because, man, look, man, it's been on the stove too long, man. We were supposed to have a steak tonight, not jerky. It's getting, you know, and I'm gonna just end off by saying this, man. Sometimes you gotta forego what you see you gotta forego what a motherfucker want for what motherfuckers really need. And that's all I'm gonna end it off with. Hey man, I appreciate y'all being in with me this morning. As we always say at the end of this shit, it costs you nothing. Pay a nigga no mind. I appreciate all y'all coming through. We're gonna touch on this more. I got these videos I'm ready to start working on. Hey, y'all enjoy y'all day. Respect.